and welcome back to Chef Kelly's final cake baking attempt. For this, I have spoken to experts all over my current place of work, West Drayton Primary School. And I have to tell you, I've been given some fantastic advice. My first two cakes were not wonderful, so I put my growth mindset on and I went to speak to the experts. And they told me one thing, and that thing was stalk. Apparently, this is the key to making fantastic cakes. So, today, I'm going to be making a Victoria sponge using the other recommendation I had from the experts, the Mary Berry recipe. And I'm also going to be including for the first time baking powder and using an electronic whisker. So, this is the last chance for me to prove that I can bake cakes. I will see you when I begin. You may remember that I said last time, and it was reminded to me last time, that washing your hands is the most important thing you can do, because otherwise I'll be putting all of my lovely hand germs into the cake, and nobody wants hand germs in a cake. So, rub them together, all over, like they teach you in the hospital, this, and this, and all over this, and up like this. Hello, welcome back. First thing, grease the tin. Get a little bit of this lovely margarine and with some baking paper, just have it wrap it all the way around so that nothing sticks and everything bakes nice and evenly. Not too much, just enough to, my wife is now laughing at me. I think maybe it's because I said not too much and I smothered it in, is that right?
No, it's because you think that's what to use baking paper for.
It stops it sticking. But doesn't it help it baking? See, I've got my growth mindset on, so I'm not listening to your laughs. I'm just concentrating on following the instructions. Something, of course, my students do all the time. Right, next, I'm going to beat some eggs. See you in a second. Turns out I needed my growth mindset on a lot because I had misread the instructions. I was supposed to cut out a circle and then put out of the baking paper and put that in the tin. So you can see my cutting is less than accurate, but I think because of the amount of grease I got in there, it'll be absolutely fine. So, the next thing I'm going to do is break some eggs. So, I'm going to get a little container to put the eggshells into. Now, Mrs. Wife, do you think that I should beat the eggs with this? The beater?
No.
Okay, so I'm just going to do that with a whisker. I do need to ask the professionals, you see. My wife has baked 3 cakes, and all of them have been more successful than mine, you see. But I'm not giving up, because people with a growth mindset don't give up, even in the face of challenge. I've now put that into the wrong. That was for the eggshell.
There's some shell in there.
No, there's not. There's no shell. No shell. It's a perfectly good crack. There's one thing I can do is crack an egg.
Remember, it's your personal best day. You're not competing against me.
Oh, no. That's the thing about a growth mindset, isn't it? I'm not interested, really, in what other people can do. I'm interested in learning from other people, but I'm not comparing myself to other people because all I want to do each time is improve. And if there's one thing I'm good at, it's improving, even if I never quite reach the very, very peaks of cake building / baking. So, I'm now going to grab a whisk and I'm going to whisk it up. So, I should really get a new bigger whisk, but unfortunately the last time I was baking it fell apart in my hand, but I think it was from the 1980s, so just rapid movements, give it a quick whisk. There we go, and it should be a lovely sort of yellowy consistency. Of course, at this point you should never ever lick your fingers because you haven't cooked the eggs. I will see you in a minute when I'm measuring out all of my other ingredients. Break the eggs into a large mixing bowl. I did mix the eggs, but that should be fine. Then add the sugar, flour, baking powder and baking spread. I'm not making any of this up. I asked a professional baker, is baking cooking? He said no, it's a science, it's exact, so I'm sticking exactly to the recipe. I'm not going to bore you to tears with all of my measuring, But you may remember one of the things I learned about baking in my first cake was the fact you do need a working pair of scales. So I have my new electronic scales, and I need 225 grams of caster sugar. So I'm now going to make sure that very exactly I get 225 grams of caster sugar. I'm just going to check I'm on the right unit. Milliliters? Grams. What was it? 225. You must make sure on your scale you are on the right unit. If you're looking at pounds, you're going to have an awful lot of sugar in there. 225, 222, 223, 224, 225. Baking is exact. So as you can see, this is all of the ingredients put together pre-mixed. Now I'm just going to add the eggs, which I have already whisked again because I was not following the instructions well enough. And now you get to watch me with a hand blender mixing it all into a cake mix. Now, you may remember last time that the cake it didn't rise properly and the mix looked more like scrambled eggs than cake mix. So what we're hoping for this time is that it is an actual cake mix, not scrambled egg. So once I've plugged the electronic mixer in, I will be back to mix. See you in a sec. So, you may see I've put on my Nando's apron. This is because it doesn't have to be a Nando's apron, other brands are available. The reason that I put the apron on is because this could get messy. I've not mixed before with an electric mixer, but I've listened to the experts. They say bend the bowl, go in, and then start the mixing. Wish me luck. Just right. Coming together nicely. I'm very excited. Whereas last time it looked like scrambled egg, it actually looks like cake mix this time. It smells sweet like cake mix. It's fluffy. I've been mixing and mixing and mixing. It's taken me about 10 minutes, but it's finally coming together. I'm getting rid of all the lumps. I'm really excited about this. I think I might have cracked it. I think after this, I may be a master baker. There's nothing more disappointing than when you put your heart and soul into something and it's not perfect. But you need to persevere. And I'm really glad I did, because it's been a while since I baked, for reasons I'll go into at the end of this video. However, it's been worth the wait and worth the asking around and worth the growth mindset, because look at this mix. It is light, it's rolly, when I say rolly, I mean it's rolling around the bowl, but it just looks fantastic, and I am chuffed to pieces. So the next step of the recipe is to spoon I mean, just look how runny that is. It's just fantastic stuff. It's going to be lovely and light. I'm going to do one. Look at it falling off the spoon. It's going to be wonderful, this. My lucky class, we're going to have a very small piece of this rather small cake tomorrow. One spoonful per tin to mix it up and make it nice and even. It doesn't need to be exact, apparently, but obviously you don't want a completely top-heavy cake, or it won't be as attractive as I think this will be. I'm feeling chuffed. In fact, I may even with cakes be getting to the level after this Victoria sponge where I can enter the Great British Bake Off. Maybe I'll need a few more recipes, but I'm really feeling very confident, which is good, although I know I can still improve. Okay, so got my big baking tray, got my 2 cake tins filled with this delicious mixture, and now I've got my oven glove on for safety. I'm going to carefully pick up this pre-baking tray. Never do this without an adult. Pop it into the oven on the middle shelf. Set my piggy timer for 25 minutes. Not open the oven, because I think I did that last time, which is why the cake previously didn't rise. And then hopefully in 25 minutes we'll have a cake mix. Wish me luck. Hello and welcome back. I'm excited, and I'm going to show you why I'm excited. It's not because it's a Wednesday evening. It's because my cakes have risen. Look at that. Cooked to absolute perfection. Now, what you're going to see next is the cakes there after they've completely cooled and I'm jamming up. But just look, they've risen. they look fluffy, they look spongy. I think I finally nailed it. Let's see if I have in about 15 minutes. Well, the cake is cooled. It's time for the final spooning of jam. You'll see me in about 2 minutes after I've spooned. So, just giving a sprinkle casting sugar on the top. Give it a quick dust. Of course, I've re-washed my hands. This will just give it a nice sweet edge, and I'm not gonna... I mean, look at that. It's an actual proper cake. It's risen up. I actually want to eat that. So, tomorrow, my class are going to be trying it. Usually I have a sort of feedback session from the cake tasting at the start of my videos. However, this time, because this is the final cake baking video, I'm going to have feedback from my class tomorrow. So I will speak to you again then. Goodbye. Hello. It's the day after I baked the cake, and today I let every member of my class try a slice. And I'm happy to say that they and other teachers felt that it was an absolute triumph. Compared to my first one that was soggy in the middle, my second one that was like a biscuit covered in raspberry jam, so much so that you couldn't even taste the biscuit, to this. It was a truly delicious cake. I'd never baked before, and now I've baked, and I'm no master, but I'm very much improved. I'm not comparing myself to the best. All I know is I'm getting better each time. I'm not taking criticism as a hurtful thing, but as something that's useful. And I'm really taking heed of the next steps and advice that everybody's been very kind to give me. Feedback from my class today: fluffy, light, spongy, just the right level of jam. Next steps, always useful to have some next steps. Some of them felt that it could have done with a bit of ice cream, whipped cream, or buttercream. And possibly some icing on the top. So there you go, a few next steps for me for next time. But I'm chuffed. Now my next growth mindset challenge is to run 10,000 metres, and I'm actually signed up for a 10,000 metre race in London at the end of May. So I'm going to be training for that. I've got my new GoPro camera, so I'm going to be taking you on some of the runs I get up to in the next few weeks. Anyway, thanks for tuning in. Remember, keep it growth mindset, and I look forward to seeing you in just a few weeks' time. Goodbye, and stay safe.